Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It has been a hot minute since I have done a baby names video. I have been getting questions and messages about when I'm doing another one, and the most requested one I have been getting have been twin name videos. I don't know what it is, but people want to see twin name ideas, and I've never done one of those videos before, so I thought that it would be fun to share with you some twin name combinations. So I am going to be giving you 15 twin name combinations. I'm going to do 5 girl and boy, 5 girl and girl, and then 5 boy and boy combinations. I've never seen a twin names video before, so I don't know how most people tend to do these. Certainly open to suggestions on the format of this video, but this is how this one is just gonna go for now. If you enjoy watching these types of videos, make sure that you hit that thumbs up button and let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more like this. If you've seen any of my baby name videos before, then you know I tend to gravitate towards names that are a little more different or unique. Not like crazy over the top names that you can't spell or pronounce, but just names that aren't necessarily used within our circle of family or friends or even people that we know in general. I also kind of have like a pattern of names that I tend to like. I really love gender neutral names. I really love boy names that can be used for girls. I like a lot of girl names that end with Lee for some reason. And for twins, I found myself gravitating towards names that really flowed together, if that makes sense. So a lot of them have like similar sounds or the same initials, which is pretty common, I think, for most twins. These are not in any particular order, but I will say the very first pairing that I'm going to share with you is probably my absolute favorite twin name combination ever. And I'm gonna start with the girl and boys, and that combination is Xander and Landry. I don't know what it is, but that combination of names to me is like perfection for twins. If I ever had twins, like boy girl, I think that those names would be so cute to use. I love the name Xander for a little boy. I just think it's so cute. It has a little bit of edginess to it, which is typically what I'm drawn to for boys. And Landry is just so different and unique, and it's not one that I know in person, and it's not a name that I really ever hear. The next pairing is the name Rylan and Reese, and this is one of those name combinations that could go really for either gender. I feel like Reese now is becoming more popular for a boy's name, especially here in the South. I feel like I hear Reese used more often for boys, and I like it for a boy. I think it's cute. I really love it for a girl though. I've always loved that name. I love Reese Witherspoon. I think it's like one of those classic pretty girl names to use. And then Rylynn is one of those names. In this particular instance, I really love it for a boy, but I think it would be so beautiful for a girl too if you wanted to switch it up. The next combination is Ryder and Reagan. Ryder has been one of those names that has been at the top of my list of boys' names for years. I love that name. It just has that like coolness factor to it. And Reagan, I feel like I don't really hear it that often anymore, but I remember like when I was getting out of college, I feel like everybody was naming their girls Reagan. Reagan and Lincoln, I feel like, were like the two big names that were going around for babies, which I like it because it kind of has like a fun spin on the president's name. But I like Reagan. I think it's just a really pretty name for a girl. It's different. I also knew a girl in college named Regan, which is a fun spin on Reagan, and I think that's a really pretty name too. So I think Reagan or Regan, either one, goes really well with Ryder. The next pairing is the names Colton and Brooklynn. I like Colton. I think it's a really cute, I kind of feel like it's kind of a country sounding name. I will never use the name Colton at this point because my cousin named her baby boy Cole, and I feel like the two are just too similar to each other. But I think Colton is really cute. I love that you could call him Colt. And then Brooklynn is one of those names that when I was growing up was a really popular name. I knew so many Brooks, and I really don't hear it that often anymore, but I think Brooklynn is one of those like really pretty, great classic names to use for a girl. I love that you could call her Brooke as well, and I think Colt and Brooke go really well together. The last pairing for a girl and boy is Rylan and Reid. And again, I'm using the name Rylan, but in this instance, I'm using it as the girl's name.
I need to go potty.
Okay. Time up. Okay, so Rylan and Reid. In this instance, I really love the name Rylan for a little girl. I love how a lot of these names too, you can change up the spelling, you can make them more feminine, you can make them more masculine, and just making them a little bit different in general just by changing a couple letters is something that I tend to gravitate towards anyways. But I love Rylan for a little girl. I think it's really cute and really sweet. And then Reid, I think, is a great name for a boy. I feel like I heard that name like a long time ago. I feel like on one of my soap operas that I used to watch way back in the day. I think that there was a Reid on The Young and the Restless. And I've always loved that name. I think it's really cute for a little boy. And I love that it's a little bit nature inspired as well. Moving on to my girl name combinations. The very first one that I have is Lyla and Lillie. I love the name Lyla. It's very similar to Layla, but it's a little bit different. And I know a couple of Lylas, but I think that it's just a sweet, sweet name for a little girl. And then Lillie is one of those just really great classic names. I feel like you don't hear as often anymore. I know for years, Lillie was a really, really popular name. And now I just don't hear it that often, but I feel like with Lillie, it's one of those names that works for any age. It's so cute for a baby and a little girl, and then even as like an older woman and even an elderly woman, I think Lillie is a beautiful, really, really pretty name. The next pairing is Kyla and Kinsley. I don't know where I ever heard the name Kyla. I know it's a little bit of a play on Kylie, which I know lots of Kylies, but Kyla is one that I've not really ever heard, and I feel like it's a little bit exotic sounding, and I think that's why I'm drawn to it so much, but I think it's so beautiful. And Kinsley, I actually know a Kinsley, but I had this name on my list before I even knew this Kinsley, and I just think it's really, really pretty. I think the two together just flow really nicely together. The next pairing is Finley and Whitley. Finley has been on my list for years. When I used to work at a medical office, we worked with a Dr. Finley, and I always thought that would be a really cool name to use for a little girl. Lo and behold, I never knew that it was actually going to become like a kind of popular name for a girl. We actually know a little girl named Finley who's actually a twin now that I think about it. Like I never put two and two together there. But I love the name Finley. I think it is so cute. We would never use it now just because we know that family very well. Gunnar is really good friends with her and her sister, and I'm just like, I just don't like to use names from other people that we know. But I think Finley is so beautiful. And then Whitley, I don't know where I ever heard that name. I really, up until this last year, didn't know anybody named Whitley. It's been on my list for a while, and I just think it's really beautiful. But I am friends now with a girl on Instagram whose name is Whitley. So I thought that was kind of funny. Even for the longest time, I thought her name was Whitney. So I really didn't even realize until recently that her name is Whitley. So I love that name. I think the two together are so pretty. And I love that you could call them Finn and Whit. I am really big into nicknames as well, in case you didn't know. Then the next group is Brinley and Brooklyn. Brinley is such a sweet and fun name, and I love that you could call her Bryn. I have loved the name Bryn for years now, and I love that using Brinley translates into Bryn for short. And then Brooklyn is one of those names that growing up was a really popular name. I knew so many Brooks, and I feel like I don't ever hear that name being used anymore. And I really think Bryn and Brooke are such a cute pairing for twin girls. And then the last combination for girls that I have is a little more classic, and those names are Abigail and Emma. And again, Abigail, I feel like I don't really hear anymore. I was very, very good friends with a girl in high school whose name was Abigail. We called her Abby, and I think Abby and Emma together is so cute sounding for twin girls. And I love that both of them are really just like good classic names, and they're both names that really can work for any age as well. Moving on to the boy name combinations. The very first one is Calum and Cade. And I've shared with you guys before that if we ever had another little boy, I would somehow want to incorporate my dad and my grandfather's names into his. And my grandpa's name was Kelvin, and everybody called him Cal. And so I wouldn't use Calvin per se, but I definitely would want to use a name that somehow had Cal in it. And Calum is one of those names that has been on that list for me for a while now. I really love that name. I like that it's a little bit different and not one that you hear very often, and it also has a little bit of edginess to it, but we could still call him Cal for short if we wanted to. And then Cade is just, again, one of those names that's a little bit different, not something that we hear very often, and I think Cal and Cade together just go really well. Next are the names Everett and Maverick. I love the name Everett. I think it's so cute. I used to work with this guy and his little boy was named Everett, and ever since they named their little boy that, I always just thought it was such a cute name for a boy. And Maverick, I just love. Like, it's just so stinking adorable for a little boy. And the two together, I don't know. I just think that they're like, I don't know. They're just such a cute combination together. I just think that they make a really good pairing. The third pair that I have are the names Declan and Dylan. This is one of those names, or groupings of names, I guess I should say, that could go for a girl and boy as well, because I love the name Dylan for a little girl. I really don't hear Dylan used for a boy anymore, and I think it is a really good classic name. I went to school with a Dylan. But now when I hear Dylan, I feel like it's used more regularly for a girl, and I think it's so cute for a girl. But in this case, I'm using it for a boy. And then Declan is a really great name too. It's just not like super popular, but it's cute. And I think Declan and Dylan just flow nicely. Next up are the names Beckham and Brexton. I love the name Beckham. I love the idea of calling him Bex. I don't know why. I just think that that is such a cute nickname. And Brexton, I honestly don't even know where I ever heard that name, but I love it. I think that it's different, but I think Bex and Brex maybe? No, I don't know. Maybe that's like a weird nickname combination. But either way, like Beckham and Brexton, I think go really well together. And then the very last boy name combination is Caleb and Colton. Again, I'm using the name Colton. I love the idea of calling him Colt for short. Caleb is one of those names that is like super classic in my opinion. We know a Caleb, Gunnar goes to school with him, and it's just a really cute name for a little boy.
I know Caleb.
You do know Caleb. So those are my list of twin baby names. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, if you did, make sure that you hit that thumbs up button. Let me know if you want to see more twin name videos, or if you have suggestions for other baby name videos. I'm certainly open to them and want to start doing them again more regularly. If you are new to my channel, I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss out on any new content coming out soon. I have lots of fun stuff coming out for the holidays, and thank you so much for sharing in your time with me. I will see you all in my next one. Bye.
Bye.